Hi, welcome to Fictional Narrative. I'm Neri, and it is a brand new year, 2024, and my reading goals this year, I want to keep it as simple as possible. Last year, I did a 23 books that I have to read from my shelves in the year 2023. I didn't make it. I had like 6 books left and like 3 days. It wasn't going to happen with me working 7 days a week. But the issue isn't that I couldn't reach a goal. I had a goal of 60 books for the year, and I did reach that. However, I procrastinated on my 23 out of 23. This year, I still want to get a move on with that, and although with my TBRs, I like to roll books over, and I'm still going to finish the 6 that I left out, I'm not going to put them on this year's mandatory 24 in 2024 list. I know, that's super confusing. Basically, I have a list of 24 books that I'm going to read for the year 2024. They're not going to include the books from last year, but I will still read them this year. My yearly goal is going to be 70, so just 10 more from last year, since I did end up reading up to 71 or 72 books. So I still think that I'm in an okay kind of route where it's not too big of a hassle. I do kind of have a micro goal of wanting to finish 1 to 2 books a week, but again, I work 7 days a week. That may not always be manageable. Anyway, let's dive into the big list for the year 2024. I'm lucky this kind of just fits on the top part of my book cart. But let's start. So, first book I have here is Slouching Towards Bethlehem by Joan Didion. And I really love Joan Didion's writing, but it's been, I think, a good year or two since I've read anything by her. I think maybe just a year since I've read anything by her. This is a non-fiction book. So one thing that I found last year is that I did not read enough non-fiction books to meet my fill. So I'm just kind of like probably going to add them as I go. I'm a mood reader, but I'm even moodier when it comes to my nonfiction books, probably because it's nonfiction, and so it holds my attention a little less easily than a fictional book. Next, I have Talk Bookish to Me. It's been on my shelf. A couple more of these romance ones that I just kind of want to get through and find out whether these cutesy romantic books are really for me or if I should be pickier. I should probably be pickier anyway. And also because as someone who does reviews and reads reviews, I feel like a lot of these types of books get split pretty 50-50 in terms of people who like them and people who don't, which means I have to find out myself. And I own it, so why not? Last Night at the Telegraph Club. So this one I have actually been wanting to read for a while. The cover really, really caught my eye. It is so beautiful and it just gives a sense of like secret romance and I love it. Station Eternity, something that I just pretty recently bought last year. So I'm not gonna lie, I do want to read a little bit more sci-fi, but it is the cover that caught my attention because it's so simplistic and yet looks so beautiful. It is also kind of a mystery, so definitely interested in that. Bunny, because everybody says this is like a really good, like, dark academia book. I also finished The Grimrose Girls last year, which was part of my 23 out of 23, so I was like, right off of that, I know there's a sequel, which I will read, but I also want to delve into this one, because I'm like, I want to know what's different, other than the fairy tale aspect of Grimrose Girls. I thought that was really nice. A Feigned Madness. So this one, I actually was in Ohio when I purchased this, and a new Barnes & Noble store had just opened that year, and it's been a couple of years now that I've owned it. The author was doing a signing at that Barnes & Noble for its like first day, and I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. It's my birthday. I'm gonna pick up this book. And she was really sweet, and she was signed inside, so I really can't wait to delve into it. I also have The Feral Detective, which I think I meant to read a couple of years ago. I opened the first few pages and I put it down. I want to get through it. I want to challenge myself to get through it because I know that this didn't hold my attention much, but I think that the synopsis still is able to reel me in. So I just wonder if I haven't gotten to the good part yet. Okay, I have The Appeal. This one was on like every Barnes and Noble table next to all the different like sequels of Before the Coffee Gets Cold. And I thought this was interesting. I don't really think too much about... I read a lot of mysteries. Don't think too much about whether or not I can figure out who the killer is or whatever, because I kind of hope that I'm more immersed in the story than to go out and do that. Some people enjoy doing that. I'm just not one of those people. So sometimes I'm able to figure it out, and I kind of just hope that, like, okay, but with the rest of the story, I can still be surprised or enjoy it. And with this one, The Appeal being kind of focused on being a whodunit and finding that out is pretty interesting. So this one, I took the cover off. Okay, I took the jacket off because for a lot of my hardcovers, I take the jacket off, and if it has a jacket on, it's because I haven't gotten around to taking the jacket off yet, but I will. Jackets are beautiful, but I do kind of just like the look of just like a plain book. This one is The Madwoman's Ball, and it's very small, and so I tell myself, but I told myself about Before the Coffee Gets Cold too. It's small. I will get to it. I need to get through this one this year, because if it's small and I can say that in my mind, I can do it, I think. Love Unscripted. I think I was supposed to read this for a February like a couple of years ago, but then I didn't. So this one for sure I will finish this year. And also the main characters' names are Nick and Ellie. Like, how early 2000s romance is that? The Devil and the Dark Water. Did I read The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle? No, but I have it. It's by the same author. And the cover looks really good next to me. But I do want to get through this one. I think it is kind of a bit of a grittier mystery than I'm used to, but I'm ready for the challenge. How to Kidnap the Rich. This cover's so nice and so gold. The first line on this thing says, "The first kidnapping wasn't my fault. The others, those were definitely me." Who is this character? I need to find out, because yes, kidnap for ransom has been something that people have used in the past to gain money. Is it always successful? Well, I don't know. We'd probably have to revisit the case of Frank Sinatra Jr. if we were villains. Another Dark Academia. I feel like I'm trying to just get through and see if the hype on this one is really what it is supposed to be, because there's so many people who like this, and then a number of people who think that it's just a really slow read. This one is Sin Eater. I think I took a picture of this for my Instagram a couple of years ago, and I had meant to read it, but then I didn't. So I also thought this one was fairly small, so I was like, oh yeah, I'll get through it. But now that I'm looking at it, how many pages is this? This is at least 282 pages, which, yes, is actually fairly small, so I should not have any excuse in terms of reading this book. Valley of the Dolls. I picked this one up, and I know it has a movie, and I know it's like considered kind of, not like a classic, but kind of like a cult classic. People either really love the book or really love the movie and the messages that go with it, and I just think after reading my year of rest and relaxation, I want something with a similar vibe but a better story, and I'm kind of hoping this is it. Better Than Fiction. Another romance that I want to get through, and honestly, of the ones that I've shown so far, this is the one that I feel like piques my interest the most because it also is kind of a cozy setting, and I do love a good cozy. For the longest time, I thought this was called The Wife. It's The Wife Stalker. I think I did a haul with this. I don't remember if I called it The Wife or The Wife Stalker, and that's okay. This one, I keep holding these hardcovers that nobody knows what these hardcovers are. It is The Sanatorium. This one, I think a couple of years ago, was also like on every Barnes & Noble's table as the next biggest thriller, but I never got around to reading it. When I think about it, I'm like, oh, but it's so big, and I think that's a problem with me and hardcovers, is just I think it's big, but then once I get through it, it's like, oh, that was all right. I mean, I got through 2 duologies, both of which were hardcover, and so they seem about as thick as this book, but I got through them just fine. I think I'm just psyching myself out. What time do I have to read this gigantic hardcover book? Out. Out is the next book. I have been trying to read this book since I got it, and I tried a couple of times. I tried a couple of times the year that I got it, and then I tried a couple of times last year, but I couldn't get through the first few pages because, oh my gosh, does it start slow. But I want to get through it. This book I got because I wanted to read something with forced proximity that sounded cute. I am not a person who likes forced proximity very much in terms of just a domestic living situation. I feel like there has to be something extra that makes me understand why these two people are near each other or falling for each other, because I find like forced proximity can just be like a spell, and then once it's dispelled because somebody moved away, what do we have to keep the romance going? The Sinatra Club, I read half of this. And I was like, the year I read half of this, I was like, oh, I'll read the other half. I did not read the other half. And now I've forgotten what it's about. I liked doing my reviews of duologies this year, and I'd like to continue it. I do appreciate the fact that duologies just 1, 2, and done, although sometimes I want a little bit more. I can also appreciate when there doesn't need to be more. So, rounding up my 2024, I have Daughter of the Moon Goddess. This one still has a jacket on it because, well, if I review it, I'll put the jacket on it, okay? But I haven't had the chance to take this jacket off. I will take it off when I start reading it. I worry that jackets are way too fragile, but this one, and then The Heart of the Sun Warrior. So this is the second one. These covers are gorgeous. This is also nice. This is the book without the jacket. Like, doesn't that still look nice? Anyway, someone's going to tell me the jacket is meant to protect it, and then I'm going to feel bad for like 5 seconds. Wait, but let me count that back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why is that only 23? What's number 24? Okay, so now I know why everything just calculated to 23. This is 23. This is the 24th book. It is The Blacksmith Queen. And I have started reading this. That's why it's not in this pile. It was in my bag. And let me tell you something. It is a romance, and it's starting off to be kind of a cute, quirky fantasy. And I'm on a book buying ban, by the way. I am banned from purchasing books with my own money. So my boyfriend bought me a Barnes & Noble gift card. So I am not purchasing it with my own money, but for 6 months, I'll be on a book buying ban. Do I think it's going to be something that is too difficult for me to handle? No. What I'm hoping is that it will buy me time to finish, if not these books, then some other books on my shelves to clear my shelves. I think I've complained a couple of times the past year that I've just kind of been moving my stuff around, all of my books, so I don't know where anything is. And yeah, I've moved a lot of furniture around. I don't plan on moving anything anytime soon, but it's nice to know what I want to keep as part of my collection and what I don't. And I like being able to look at my bookshelves and go, I've read a majority of these books. I think book collecting is fine. I just don't also want to look at my bookshelf one day, pull off one that I haven't read, and be like, well, I've waited all these years to read you and got your disappointment. But yeah, that is my 24 for the year of 2024. Anyway, I fully expect Cozy Saturday to be strong throughout the year. I'm planning to kind of stick to a schedule of what those books are, and I'm hoping to let you all know through Instagram what to expect for the upcoming Cozy Saturdays. So yeah, keep an eye out for that, and I will see you next time. Bye!